Hey everyone, so I work the night shift at a hospital, and something crazy happened last night. I still can't wrap my head around it, but I need to share this with you guys because I'm freaked out. It was around 2 a.m., and the hospital was quieter than a library. You know that feeling when you can almost hear your own heartbeat? Yeah, that's how silent it was. I was walking down the hallway doing my rounds and checking on patients. The fluorescent lights were flickering a bit, giving the place that eerie vibe. I turned a corner and that's when I saw her, Nurse Johnson, one of the sweetest and most dedicated nurses on our floor. She was heading towards the elevator at the end of the hallway, holding a clipboard in her hand. Nothing seemed off at first, just a normal night at the hospital. As I got closer, I noticed something weird. Nurse Johnson was walking kind of slowly, like she was lost in thought or something. I called out to her, "Hey, everything okay?" She turned around, smiled, and said, "Yeah, just a bit tired. Long night, you know." I nodded and continued my rounds, not thinking much of it. A few minutes later, I was passing by the elevator, and I noticed Nurse Johnson wasn't there. I thought, maybe she took the stairs or went into a patient's room. But as I checked each room, she was nowhere to be found. It was like she vanished into thin air. I started to get a bit worried, thinking maybe she felt sick or something. I radioed the other nurses and asked if they had seen her. They hadn't. That's when the uneasiness settled in. We formed a small search party, checking every nook and cranny of the hospital. We even checked the security footage, hoping to get some clue. But there she was, walking towards the elevator, and then the footage just cut off. No sign of her getting in, no sign of her leaving. It was like she stepped into a black hole or something. The entire night turned into a frantic search. We checked the parking lot, the cafeteria, even the bathrooms. Nothing. It was like Nurse Johnson just evaporated. The security team got involved, and we reviewed every inch of the hospital on those cameras. Still, nothing. By sunrise, we were exhausted and bewildered. The higher-ups were scratching their heads, and we were left with more questions than answers. Where did she go? Did she leave on her own? Was she in some kind of trouble? The strangest part was that there was no record of her using her keycard to exit the building. It's like she just vanished without a trace. The hospital was buzzing with rumors, and even the patients started asking questions. I felt like I was in some kind of twisted episode of a medical drama. Days passed, and there was still no sign of Nurse Johnson. The hospital brought in investigators, but they couldn't find any leads either. Her family was devastated, and the whole situation became a mystery that haunted us all. I can't shake the image of her walking towards that elevator, clipboard in hand, and then poof, gone. It's like a glitch in the Matrix or something. Every time I walk down that hallway now, I half expect to see her standing there, smiling, like she never left. We all go about our shifts, doing our jobs, but the question remains, what happened to Nurse Johnson that night? It's the kind of thing you see in movies, not in real life. The hospital moved on, but there's this lingering sense of unease, a reminder that sometimes reality can be stranger than fiction. So there you have it. If any of you have experienced something like this or have any theories, hit me up. I need to make sense of this, and I'm honestly a bit spooked every time I step into that hospital now. Hey everyone, I gotta tell you about this freaky thing that happened to me when I was in the hospital last month. It's still giving me the creeps just thinking about it. So, here goes. I was laid up in the hospital for a few days because of some stupid infection. You know how it is, hospitals are never fun, but this one was different and not in a good way. It all started on the second night. I was trying to catch some Z's, but the hospital noises and the nurses coming in and out made it pretty hard. Around 3 a.m., I woke up to this soft crying sound. At first, I thought it was just some kid in the next room, maybe having a bad dream. But as I listened more closely, I realized it was coming from the bathroom. Now, I'm not the bravest person in the world, but I figured I should check it out. Maybe someone left their kid in there or something. So, I dragged myself out of bed and stumbled toward the bathroom. The crying got louder, and it sounded so real, like a little kid was in there all by themselves. I pushed the door open slowly, expecting to find a lost kid or maybe a nurse who needed help. But when I looked in, the bathroom was totally empty. I mean, there was no one in there. The crying just echoed around the tiles, getting louder and softer like it was playing tricks on me. I stood there staring into an empty bathroom, feeling a chill run down my spine. The crying continued, and I couldn't figure out where the heck it was coming from. I even checked the stall and behind the shower curtain, thinking maybe there was a hidden speaker or something. Nada. Nothing. I hightailed it back to my bed, telling myself it was probably just some weird acoustics, the pipes or the meds messing with my head. But the thing is, the crying didn't stop. It followed me back to my bed, and I could still hear it, faintly in the background, like a ghost crying in the distance. I tried to shake it off, thinking maybe it was just in my head, but the next night, it happened again. Same time, same crying. This time I was kind of freaked out, but curiosity got the best of me. I went to the bathroom again, and just like before, it was empty. No kid, no explanation. I tried talking to the nurses about it, but they just looked at me like I was crazy. One of them even joked that the hospital was haunted, but I told them I wasn't buying it. This was real, and I needed someone to believe me. As the nights went on, the crying continued. It became this eerie routine like clockwork. I'd wake up to the sound of a child crying in an empty bathroom, investigate, find nothing, and try to go back to sleep with that haunting sound in the background. I started to notice other patients giving me weird looks in the hallway, like they could hear it too but didn't want to admit it. It became this unspoken thing among us, this shared experience that we couldn't explain. Some nights, I'd catch glimpses of people peeking out of their rooms, wide-eyed and scared. Eventually, I decided to document it. I grabbed my phone and recorded the sound. I wanted proof that I wasn't losing my mind. I posted the recording online, hoping maybe someone out there had a logical explanation. The response was overwhelming. People chimed in with their own stories, some from different hospitals, others from hotels or even their own homes, all describing the same thing, the sound of a child crying, echoing from an empty room with no explanation. We formed a little community, sharing our experiences and trying to figure out what the heck was going on. Some suggested it was some weird auditory illusion, while others thought it might be a prank by the hospital staff. But no one had a concrete answer. Months later, the crying still haunts me. I left the hospital, but the memories linger. I still check the Reddit thread, hoping someone has cracked the code, but it's all just theories and speculation. The crying remains a mystery, a real-life horror story that unfolded in the sterile, fluorescent-lit halls of a hospital. And as much as I try to convince myself it was just some bizarre phenomenon, a part of me wonders if there's more to it than meets the eye. Hey guys, I never thought I'd be the one posting something like this, but something seriously messed up happened to me when I was in the hospital a few weeks ago. I still can't wrap my head around it, and it's been keeping me up at night. So, here goes nothing. I was admitted to the hospital for some stupid stomach thing. You know, discomfort, extreme pain, and all that. Anyway, they put me in room 237. Yeah, I know, it sounds like something out of a horror movie, but hospitals are weird like that. It all started one night when I was trying to get some shut-eye. I was lying there, staring at the ceiling, regretting every life choice that led me to that hospital bed. And that's when I saw it, this figure walking across the ceiling. Now, I know what you're thinking. Ceiling walking? Seriously. But hear me out. This thing was real. I'm not into spooky stuff, and I don't buy into the whole ghost thing, but I can't explain what I saw. The figure was like a shadow, moving fast and smoothly across the ceiling. Humanoid, yeah, but it was hard to make out any details because it was shrouded in darkness. It wasn't like some ghostly apparition. It was more like a living, breathing thing that shouldn't be there. I rubbed my eyes, thinking maybe I was hallucinating from the meds or something, but no, it was still there, moving with purpose like it had a destination. The weirdest part was that it disappeared as soon as it reached the other side of the room. Poof. Gone. I was freaked out, man. I pressed the call button and the nurse came in asking me what was wrong. I told her about the ceiling walking shadow person, but she just gave me a skeptical look and checked my vitals. Everything seemed normal, and she brushed it off as a side effect of the pain meds. But here's the thing, it wasn't the drugs. I've been on pain meds before, and I've never seen anything like that. It felt too real, you know? Like something out of a nightmare. The next day, I decided to do some digging. I'm not one to believe in the supernatural, but I needed answers. So I hopped online and posted about my experience. I figured maybe someone else had been in room 237 and seen the same thing. To my surprise, a few people responded with similar stories. One guy mentioned that he saw a shadow figure in the corner of his room, watching him. Another person talked about hearing strange noises at night, like someone whispering just out of earshot. It sent shivers down my spine. We started comparing notes, and it turned out that all of us had been in room 237 at some point. That's when things got even weirder. We couldn't find any logical explanation for our experiences. No faulty wiring, no weird hospital equipment causing shadows, nothing. The hospital staff was no help either. They insisted that room 237 was just like any other room and that there were no reports of strange occurrences. But the stories kept coming in from people who had stayed in that room. One person even claimed to have captured a blurry photo of the shadow figure on their phone. I'm not saying it's definitive proof, but it added another layer of creepiness to the whole thing. I wish I had a resolution for you guys, some logical explanation that would put my mind at ease. But I don't. All I know is that something messed up is happening in room 237, and it's not just in our heads. So, if you ever find yourself in that hospital and they want to put you in room 237, maybe ask for a different one. I wouldn't wish that experience on anyone. It's the kind of thing that makes you question reality, and honestly, I'm still trying to make sense of it myself. Stay safe, everyone.